Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm going to talk about Tokyo Revengers. I just finished it a little while ago, and I want to say I really liked it. It was incredible. I think the main character is okay. He's not my favorite character. I like Mikey and Dragon more. But I'll get into the premise of the show. So the show basically takes place because Takashi, which is the main character, he is in love with this one girl, and she dies. And then he decides he wants to go into the past to save her, so he goes in the past. He sees her again, because he lived like this really terrible life. He worked at a dead-end job. He didn't do anything. He felt so much regret because he left all that stuff behind because they were bullied. And then Takashi goes back in time. Like, this show is more of a love story than a lot of romances. Anyways, which her name's like Hina or something like that, and his whole goal is to save her. And then he gets like mixed in with this gang organization, and he does so much for everybody, like Mikey and Dragon. He saves Dragon once. He saves his life. Thinks that's gonna change his time. Goes back into the future. Doesn't save anything. I'm watching the show, and the main character, like, the one thing that pisses me off the most about him, the reason why he's not like my favorite character or anything, is he's around all these people that can fight. Dragon, Mikey, and then all the division captains and stuff. He's around all these people who know how to fight, and he never tries to learn how to fight. Like, if he learned how to fight from people that know how to fight, he'd be so much more useful to this gang. And everyone's kind of suspicious of him, but they also trust him at the same time, because he saved Dragon. He seems like he knows stuff about people. Like, the main villain, his name slips my mind, but he knows who's bad, and he knows the incidents that are going to happen, and then he is extremely loyal, and he keeps going back in time and seeing stuff happen, and it's just a really good show. Do I think there are flaws with it? Yes. It seems like, besides one character, knives don't do anything, because they get stabbed, they get brutally beat up, they get all this shit constantly, which doesn't bug me that much, because it's a show, and it's really cool and interesting concept. And I could see, if this runs too long, I could see how it would get boring. But these don't feel like kids. I feel like that's one of the biggest detriments, is they're trying to force it down your throat that these are kids. These are kids, these are kids, these are kids, these are kids. I think it would have the same impact if they were 18. There's 2 characters in the entire show that actually look like kids. And there's so much that happens in 24 episodes, which you think there should be so much that happens in 24 episodes. One character gets arrested. One character dies. Another character gets arrested. Mikey almost breaks. He goes back to the future and talks to his cop buddy. And, it's so fast-paced, and so much is going on, even in the episodes you don't think is going on. And Mikey's such a fucking badass. He's called the Indestructible Mikey, but I think I like Dragon more. He's got the face tattoo, and he's badass, and he's got this girl named Emily who likes him, and they explore that. He lives in a brothel, and there's so much going on with this character, and I love him. I think those Mikey and Dragon are so good, but I feel like the main character needs more growth than he's gotten. He's still, at the core, he's still a pussy. Granted, I have no room to talk because I don't know how I would react in the situations that he's in, but he cries constantly, and he does do stuff. He's been doing things. He's been leaping into action, trying to fight people. He's been doing all these things that he normally wouldn't do before he met these people, and he became a member of the gang, which I thought he was a member of the gang before, but he actually wasn't. But then they gave him the jacket of the leader, Mikey. They gave him his old jacket or something, and then that's never brought up ever again. But then they act like he's not a member, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you give this guy a jacket if he's not a member of your gang, if it means so much to your gang? And then you hear about Mikey's brother dying, and that was terrible and sad. And the guy who killed him, his name slips my mind, but he was a founding member. And then they try to redeem that guy, and now every time they try to save everyone, then he goes back to the future. Something bad happens. Something terrible happens. The girl he loves and once got exploded in a car, and his best friend just keeps dying, even though he's not really relevant to the story. And like, he is who he will be, and he has never really changed how he like goes about things, because he's always like, okay, I need to do this to save my girl. I need to, and he does do it several times. Now, I do think that the whole if you got rid of the whole future aspect, I feel like not much would really change. It just would cut out that part of the story. But like, I see how it is important now, because when I first saw it, I was like, why the fuck is this even why is the future even involved in this? Like, it seemed like a waste of time. And I personally don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I think it's a good story. Good, I think that the plot is progressing, and there's so many moving parts, and I love that. I love world building like this. Like, every time he goes back to the past, it's completely different now, because he is a member. He's a Division 1 captain, and like, to get that status, to get that pristine, he had to have done stuff. And he's got his right-hand man, who was the one who made him the captain, because he didn't want to become the captain of the group, because he thought that he wasn't deserving of it, when he truly is. But the main character literally tells Mikey, he's like, look, I'm going to take over this organization. But then why would you go back to the future if that was your whole goal, is to take over this group and become the leader? And then Dragon keeps getting murked every fucking time, which he seems like the most level-headed, like, smart guy. So what? They keep getting pushed to the limit, and because they got this dude, and he has never truly succeeded in his mission, because his mission was to get rid of the bad guy, who he knows is the bad guy, and he hasn't done that yet. So why does he keep going to the future is my biggest question. Why go back when you haven't done? I guess the last time he went back, he just woke up and he was in the future, but he hasn't succeeded in the mission that he set out to do, and that is to get rid of this guy. If he got rid of this guy from the group, the gang, which, are they bikers anymore? I don't know. Just imagine being 14 in a biker gang, man. That's fucking insane. But anyways, like, it is the problem, and he knows the problem. He knows the solution. He has to get Mikey to get rid of this guy, because this guy is a cancer on their organization, and nobody wants to do this more than him, beside him and his right-hand man. And that's the whole premise of the series. Now, I can't wait for season 2, because season 1 was goaded. I loved it. Like, it doesn't. I see the flaws in it, but like, I feel like you can't be a fan of something. You can be a fan of something and see the flaws in it. Like, I think that those two things should be okay. Like, I read this comment, because for some reason Crunchyroll has comments, and this dude was like pissed off because people were mad about a plot thing, and he's like, oh, it's such a sad thing to be called a weeb. And it's like, what? I love being called a weeb. I don't give a fuck. But like, he's mad because people are like, when like one of the characters died, he was mad about that, how people were reacting to it, because he got stabbed and it didn't seem to matter. Anyways, that's my opinions on the series. I would highly recommend it to anyone. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.